Hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and today I'm going to talk about the Canon R7 and why I'm not buying one. Let's just stick this around the neck so I don't lose this. I've been thinking about this, and there's been a little bit of discussion going on in the side, and I've come to the conclusion that I don't need a camera like this new R7 that Canon has launched. I have no need for it whatsoever. All the equipment I have works perfectly fine as it is. If you think a new piece of equipment is going to make you a better photographer, it might incrementally improve you a little bit just for the sheer technology in it, but to make you legitimately better, new equipment won't solve it. I hate to bust your bubble. This new camera isn't going to be the magic pill to make you a good photographer. It just ain't going to happen. What's going to make you a good photographer is getting out, taking photos, examining those photos analytically for what you like and don't like about them, because photography is subjective. Remember that. You're not obligated to fall into somebody else's cookie cutter mold of what a photographer does with their photos. If you want to improve in photography, then I suggest that you examine the photos you have taken, look at them, ask yourself the question, what do I like about these images and what do I want to improve on these images? And then go out and do and implement those improvements. I've said this before, I've heard it said, and I believe it to the center of my core. Any camera made after 2015, I'll just go back 7 years. This is 2022 when I'm making this video, and any camera made after about 2015 will take stunning photographs. Doesn't matter whose it is. It doesn't matter what lens you're using. It matters that you implicitly understand the equipment you have. I know people who have entry-level DSLRs from years ago who are taking incredibly beautiful photos with them. And I know people who have the latest camera and don't know how to use it. And it's the facts. The facts of the matter are, a newer piece of equipment doesn't make you better. Do you think that you could go and buy the latest Ping golf clubs and you'll instantly be a good golfer? Well, why do you think that buying a new camera makes you a better photographer? Where does that come from? Because it doesn't apply to anything else that takes a skill set. And for some reason, people have it in their head that photography is equipment based and not skill based. They couldn't be further from the truth. Now, the only time I will advocate is the right word for getting the new camera is in the instance like Phil Thatch. Phil and Heather have been really getting into their bird photography here lately, and Phil's been dabbling in macro some too, but they are dyed in the wool bird photographers. It's just a fact. Now, he does have a bunch of other subject matter that he enjoys shooting, but if you look through the last 2 years worth of his videos, you'll see there are quite a few bird photography videos. It's because he really enjoys those kind of photographs, or that photography genre. And for him, the new R7 made perfect sense. He's already got several large telephoto lenses, and with his R6 being full frame and 24 megapixels, it gives him only so much resolution in the region where the bird is going to be, and you normally crop those images heavily. When the Canon R7 came out, it was a automatic kind of upgrade for his resolution, because if you think about it, he takes a full frame sensor and he crops it to at least APS-C, because when you're photographing songbirds, they're already little tiny things, so you're trying to make them fill the frame somewhat. So now He's got 32 megapixels in an APS-C format. And that's going to translate to 60 or 70 megapixels. I ain't done the math yet. It'll appear on the screen. What the equivalent full frame digital sensor ratio will be, you know, how many megapixels in full frame would it take to get a crop that big. It mechanically doesn't give him more zoom, but it effectively does, because he's cropping that full frame image that he's going to cut out anyway. So he's already kind of getting ahead of the curve. And for him, this camera makes a lot of sense. And I agree with him, because it's the right fit for the photography he does, and his equipment is limiting him. At this point, he needs the higher pixel density of that fancy sensor to get him to kind of the next level. Does that make sense? Just because a camera manufacturer dropped a new camera doesn't mean your gear from a year ago doesn't work anymore. It works just exactly like it did before. Adrian Alfred takes, or Alfred, sorry about that, takes beautiful, stunning, mind-bending landscape photos with a D850 and a D750 at times. The equipment isn't as important as getting out and getting photos. And take photos with intent. Don't just blast away and then go home and hope you got something. Think about it. Think through what you want. What kind of photos do you want? And, you know, for like Phil, he wants little songbirds in interesting poses in their natural setting. So he has to go, A, where the birds are, and B, he has to get there at the right times of day that the birds are active, and C, he has to have the right equipment to be able to capture them with. So, you know, it just makes sense there. Like I said, until the equipment is physically holding you back, there ain't no point in upgrading. There really ain't. So, you know, don't let them get in your head. Don't do it. Don't let them get in your head and make you think that you have to have this new camera because it has more megapixels or better IBIS or better eye detect autofocus. God help me. I appreciate y'all watching. And until next time, get your camera out and go take a picture with it, all right? We'll see you later. Bye-bye.